If not Inter, we go to Singapore.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. In a few moments, we will commence our descent to Singapore Changi International Airport.
Hello, Singapore!
Hi everyone, let's talk about Singapore. Singapore is one of the most amazing and successful countries in the world. This small city stage that located at the southern tip of the Malay Peninsula in Southeast Asia. The city is covering an area of 710 square kilometers and they have 5.64 million people living there. Do you know that Singapore used to be a part of Malaysia, but in 1965, Singapore became its own country due to different ideology and racial conflict. Since then, it's been growing rapidly. Fast forward to today, Singapore is a shining example of a successful parliamentary republic. Their smart policy has transformed Singapore into a global economic powerhouse. Their government is known for being super efficient with focusing on long-term plans. Since becoming independent, Singapore has evolved from a poor port city to one of the world's most powerful financial centers. This country's economy thrives on manufacturing, trade and financial service that making it one of the richest and most developed nation in the world. And the attraction that usually become the tourist spot like Marina Bay Sands, Garden by the Bay and also Universal Studio of Singapore. What even more amazing about Singapore is multicultural society. You will find various ethnic groups like Chinese, Malay and India. The diverse community contribute to Singapore's being a unique cultural landscape. They also celebrate various cultural festivals like Chinese New Year, Hari Raya, Deepawali and also Christmas. Although English is the main language spoken, but Malay, Mandarin and Tamil are also recognized as official language. Many countries look up to Singapore for its success in creating a modern, successful and harmonious society. It shows that with the right government, a strong economy and respect for different cultures, a country can truly thrive.
We know that Singapore uses a Westminster-style government and also a unitary parliamentary republic. The Prime Minister is the head of governments and the President is the head of state. Lawrence Wong is the Prime Minister of Singapore. He officially took office on 15 May 2024. Now, I will be sharing about political issues in Singapore. Even though Singapore is known for being safe and well-governed, there are still some political challenges we should know about. Singapore has limited political freedom. The People's Action Party, or PAP, has ruled since 1954. Because of this, opposition parties find it hard to grow. They get less media attention and sometimes face rules that make campaigning difficult. There are strict laws on freedom of speech. People must be very careful when talking about politics, race, or religion. The government says this is to keep peace and order, but some people feel it limits their ability to speak freely. Next, the media is tightly controlled. Most news outlets are linked to the government, so the ruling party gets more coverage. This makes it harder for other views to reach the public, especially during the elections. Lastly, there is low political participation. Many citizens don't take part in politics. Some are afraid to speak out, while others feel like their opinion don't matter. This can slow down change and new ideas in the system. Even with these issues, many Singaporeans support the government because it brings stability and progress. But younger generations are starting to ask for more openness, fairness and freedom in politics. I think that's all.
Now, let's talk about the main security issues happening in Singapore. Let's begin with terrorism. Although Singapore has never experienced a major terrorist attack, the threat remains very real. Due to its strategic location and diverse society, Singapore is a potential target for extremist group. This group may attempt to exploit religious or political tensions to carry out violent acts. Singapore adopts a preventive and intelligence-led approach focusing on early detection, surveillance and close collaboration with international partners. The government also engaged the public through initiatives like SG Secure, which educate citizens on how to respond to and report potential terror activities. Next, closely linked to terrorism is self-radicalization. This type of threat is especially difficult to detect because it happens privately without direct contact with non-terror groups. Individuals may become influenced by religious, political, or racial ideologies, leading them to plan or support acts of violence. Another growing concern is the rise of cybercrime. Cybercrime has become one of the most serious domestic security issues in Singapore due to the country's high level of digitalization. As more people and business rely on online platforms for service and transaction, threats such as hacking, phishing, identity theft, and ransomware attack have increased. This crime not only cause financial loss to individuals and companies, but also put national infrastructure at risk, including healthcare, banking, and public service.
So next, let's talk about some of key domestic economic issues facing Singapore. These are challenges that impact all of us, whether we are student, worker, or planning for the future. So let's take a closer look. The biggest concerns right now is the rising cost of living. Prices for daily essentials like food, housing, healthcare, and even public transport has been going up steadily. Why is this happening? Well, it's not just local. Global inflation, supply chains problem, and changes in currency value all play a part. The government has tried to help weak things like GST vouchers and USAF rebates, but many middle-income families still feel the pressure. Next, let's talk about housing. Yes, Singapore has a high home ownership rate, especially with HDB flats. But buying a home, especially in major estates or private condos, is getting more difficult. Young people today are finding it's harder to afford homes near the city center. This is not just about property prices, it's also about fairness across generations and increasing concerns about wage gap. Another issue is income inequality. Singapore is known for its strong economy, but not everyone benefits equally. The Gini coefficients, which measure income inequality, is still quite high, though government support help reduce the gap. But for lower-income family, moving up the economic ladder is tall, especially with automation changing the job market. That's why education and skill training are more important than ever.
In every country, social issues affect people in their daily life, and Singapore is no exception. Although Singapore is known for its safety, strong governance, and modern infrastructure, there are still several social problems that need to be addressed. So now, let's discuss about the domestic social issues in Singapore. The first social issues that faces by Singapore is aging population. In fact, Singapore is one of the fastest aging nations in the world. In 2023, about 1 in 5 Singaporeans is a senior that age 65 years old and above, and this is expected to reach to 1 in 4 by 2030. This demographic shift creates multiple challenges for the country, such as higher healthcare costs, shrinking workforce, and greater demand for education service. The Singapore government has responded with initiatives such as the Action Plan for Successful Aging. Next is mental health. Mental health has become an increasingly important issue in Singapore, especially among young people and working adults. A national study found that 1 in 3 young people in Singapore reported experiencing mental health symptoms such as anxiety, depression, or burnout. In schools, students face academic pressure and high expectations, while working adults often deal with workplace stress and long working hours. In response, the government has launched initiatives such as the National Mental Health and Wellbeing Strategy 2023 and online platforms like My Singapore. Another social issue is income inequality. Even though government subsidies and programs have reduced the impact of the income gap between the highest and lowest income groups, inequality still affects on social mobility. Families from lower income backgrounds often struggle to access quality education, housing and healthcare. To address this, the government has implemented programs such as a ComFcare for financial assistance, the Workfare Income Supplement for low-wage workers, and Skill Future.
To sum up, Singapore is a successful country with a strong economy, good government and diverse population. Even though it is small and limited natural resources, it's become a major financial centre due to smart policy and the leadership of the People Action Party (PAP). While PAP is in control, this has made it hard for other parties to grow and limit some free speech. Singapore has strong security and people from different backgrounds live peaceful together. With modern buildings, a high quality of life and a focus on education, Singapore is a great place to live. That is amazing, right?